Good morning, everyone. That is our fifth week in the online sessions. Please don't hesitate putting your names in the comments section before we start. And after you do that, prepare your book, the Global English book, both the course book and the workbook, and let's start together. During today's lesson and tomorrow's lesson, we will be dealing with Unit 14, Possessions and Personal Space. So today we're going to cover the first half. We will be studying to have something done, then we will study some vocabulary. After that, we would have the past perfect in reported speech, and we will end and we will finish the lesson with solving exercises. We will start with the first exercise on page 111. But before we're able to solve it, we need to read the text on page 110. So I will give you time to read the text and then we will have the answers for the exercise. If you stop the video and read the text, now we will do it together. The first question says, Emma says, I love him to bits when she's talking about her teddy bear. What do you think this means? Well, it means that she loves her teddy bear a lot. Number two, who takes part in competitive events? Of course, that would be Judy. After that, who plays a musical instrument? Marta. Four, who has the name of famous person on one of their prized possessions? This will be Eric. And finally, for whom is friendship important? That's for Natasha and Lee. Now we would explain the use of English to have something done. If you have something done, someone does it for you. You don't do it yourself. So, for example, if your hair is being cut, you're not the one that is doing it. Of course, the barber is doing it. That's why you say, I have my hair cut every month. So notice the formula here. You have, then you have the object, my hair, and after that the verb. The verb should be in past participle. And you will notice the colors down there. They are indicating each one of them. So first you must have, when we say have, you might have, has, or had. Then the object, which could be anything, and the verb, do not do it anything else than the past participle. So the examples here, I have my haircut every month, and mom had the car repaired. She didn't repair it herself. Of course, the mechanic did that. That's why we said mom had the car repaired. Had, of course, it's part of have, has, had. Then you have car, which is the object, and repaired is the past participle verb. There are some notes to be dealt with here. First, you can always use by to show who did it. So in the first example, you can put by the barber. The second example, by the mechanic. In this example that we have, he had his shirt signed by who or by whom? By Messi. And another note, using get instead of have gives the same meaning. So instead of saying mom had the car repaired, you can say mom got the car repaired. Or in this example that we gave, I get my haircut every month. So it means the same. On page 111, we have an exercise. We should give advices for the sentences that are given. So the first one is solved. It says, I'd like to put these photos up on the wall of my room. you should use one of these verbs that are given above so that you can make a right sentence. So our advice would be you should have them framed. You see, we use the same formula. You have, then them, which is the object, and then framed, a verb in past participle. So do not forget to put the verb in past participle. Now I will give you time to stop the video and try to solve these three remaining sentences, and then we will solve it together. Okay, so number one is solved as we said. Now we would move on to number two. I've got a gold watch that my grandfather gave me, but it's broken. So what should you do? We would say you should have it repaired. You should have it repaired. Number three, I've got a lovely silk jacket that belonged to my great grandmother, but it's dirty and you can't wash it. So what should we say? We would definitely say you should have it cleaned. The last sentence and one verb remaining here, so it's going to be easy. I'd like to send my friend some chocolates, but they'll get squashed in the post. So we would say you should have them delivered. See, have, object, and the verb in past participle. Very simple. On page 112, you have a picture, and there are many objects stated in exercise 1 if we can see them in the picture or not. So, to start with the first one, drawers, of course, the drawers are very obvious in the picture. Then the bunk beds. What are the bunk beds? The bed that is of two floors. So you have the first one and the second one. Then cupboard, it's of course there. Reading lamp on both of the beds. Then the cushion and the hook both exist. A chair and snowboard can be found too. And the storage basket cannot be found, so it's not in this picture. Trunk, of course it's there. After that you have the baseball cap. It is not in the picture. Then you have goggles. And goggles are these things that protect your eyes from, let's say, sun, or when you want to put them while you want darkness. A guitar is definitely there. Book also there. Notes board, which is the bulletin board there. It exists too. Ladder, yes. Stool, yes. While the mirror, no. Now we would explain a very important topic, which is reported speech. We already dealt with reported speech in the past in book 7, but now we would explain it in a certain or specific tense, which is past perfect. So, just to remind you, what's reported speech? It is when you tell people what someone said. So, why do we change the tense in reported speech? You notice that we do not take what anybody said and just put it as it is. We change and usually do it to the past. So why do we do that? The answer is, when we tell people what someone said, we usually change the tense because what they said was in the past. So we cannot just put it in present. So we have some rules here that I would like you to learn. Starting with the first one, if the sentence is in present perfect in direct speech, we change it to the past perfect in reported speech. So, what is present perfect? You remember that present perfect means have and has. So, I have broken my leg, for example. That is a sentence in present perfect. So, if we want to report this speech, we cannot put it in the same tense. We should do it as past tense or past perfect tense. Past perfect means had plus the past participle. So here is this example that will show you that things are easy. I've only played twice. That's a direct speech sentence. You notice that the VE is the contraction of have. So how would we do that? We would say, he said he had only played twice. See, we changed the have to had. And since the verb is already past participle, we kept it the same. Now, the other rule would be, if the sentence is in past simple in direct speech, we change it to the past perfect in reported speech. So what's past simple? It is the verb that is with ed or the irregulars. So I played, I swam, I gave him a pen. All these are past simple. Again, whenever you have past simple, you should do it or you should change it to past perfect. So the example here, I came twice to meet you. That's a direct speech. We will try to do this as reported speech. So we would say, he said that. That is optional, by the way. You can use it or not. It's up to you. He said that he had come twice to see me. Why did I do the you as me? Because in this case, I'm talking about someone who was talking to me. So he said that he had come twice to see me. Notice had, and we changed the came to come because that's the past participle of it. We have more examples here. The first sentence, let's figure out the tense and then we can solve it. And remember, we have two cases in which we can change the sentence to past perfect. Whenever you have present perfect and whenever you have past simple. So, I saved up for it for quite a long time. This sentence is definitely past simple. So the solution would be, he said he had saved up for it for quite a long time. Nothing much we did. It's only putting the had and trying to do the verb as past participle. And since saved is the same, we wouldn't change anything in it. Another sentence. I've just read a book about Arctic explorer. So the solution, or let's say the type of the sentence, the tense is present perfect because you have, I've. So the solution would be, he said he'd. Notice here that the D is the contraction for had. So he said he'd just read a book about Arctic explorers. Now, I didn't write a short story. Easy one, and it's in negative this time. So this is past simple. The solution would be, he said he hadn't written. Past participle of write is written. Last sentence, I haven't called her, said Lisa. Here we have the one that said it. So we would say, Lisa said she hadn't called her. To make this subject more understood, we have exercise 4 on page 113. We would report, we have to answer first and report them. So you notice here that some answers would be different. Now, the first one, is that your snowboard? It looks new. How long have you had it? So we would bring this answer. Jan said he had only had it for a few months. Now for number 2. What about the animal's head? He said it wasn't real. He had made it for his art project at school. Number 3. What are you reading at the moment? He said he just finished reading a really good book about Arctic explorers. And finally, is your room always tidy? The answer would be, he said he had tidied his room before the interviewer arrived. Notice that the questions usually in the exam wouldn't be in this way because they will be direct. I will give you the sentence and you have only to change it to reported speech. So always think about the tense and you will do it or in the right way. Finishing the first part of this unit in the coursebook, we will move on to the workbook and I will be solving 3 exercises with you. The first exercise is on page 83. It contains 6 pictures and we have to have a look at these pictures and know what we can do using have something done. So for the first picture, it's obviously a barber. So we would say you can have your hair cut. Number 2, we have vision opticians. So we can say you can have your eyes tested. Number 3, we can say you can have a book signed. As for number 4, you can have a photo or a picture framed. Number 5 is very easy. It's a free delivery of pizza. So you can say you can have a pizza delivered. And finally, you can have your old toys repaired. Continuing with the workbook, page 84, exercise 1. We have to complete the conversation with suitable words. So the answers are given below. You can copy them and put them in the right places. The last exercise is the most important here because it's about reported speech. So, we have sentences that are underlined. We need to change these underlined sentences to reported speech. So, starting with the first one, my mom's just had the bedrooms repainted. Notice here, what's the tense of this sentence? By the way, mom's, here you have this S, it's a contraction of has. So we would say the answer would be she said her mom had just had the bedrooms repainted. We only changed has to had. The other sentence would be I chose the colors myself. The solution for this easy sentence would be she said that she had chosen the colors herself. Number 3, I've just put everything away in the cupboard. The answer would be she said she'd just put everything away in the cupboard, only changing the have to had. And number 4, I've had the jewelry box for ages. It belonged to my grandmother. So I've had, notice here, VE it's for have. So that is a present perfect. We would change it to had. So the sentence would be she said she had had the jewelry box for ages. And you continue. Number 5, my uncle and aunt have just gone to live in Sweden. She said her uncle and aunt had just gone to live in Sweden. Last sentence, I've just finished reading The Village by the Sea. So how would you do that? She said she had just finished reading The Village by the Sea. That was all what we had for this lesson today. Thank you so much for watching and listening.